Carly Russell has been charged with false allegations of kidnapping and the such. If you don't remember the case, she was a lady that was a nursing student that called 911 claiming she had seen a kid on the side of the road and she pulled over, and then she went missing for a few days and came back with claims that she had been abducted and abused a little bit, and they released her, and everyone was passing around this idea that, oh my gosh, they abducting black women, and this is a big race war that's about to kick off because now they're hurting us, blah, 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 blah. Well, the police found some stuff on her phone, and we're going to hear what the news report had to say about it. And we're going to be telling you some issues that might have possibly helped this along, and you can make your own assumptions about it, but we'll give you our breakdown.
She made national news for faking her own kidnapping. After a massive search, Carly Russell reappeared, telling cops she had been abducted and held against her will. But it was all a lie. Now the 25-year-old nursing student is in court to learn her fate. Stephen Fabian reports.
The nursing student who made national headlines when she faked her own kidnapping is finally facing the music.
How do you plead?
25-year-old Carly Russell was driving home from work when she called 911 to say she was pulling over to help a toddler she had seen on the side of the highway.
What is he wearing? It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
Then she vanished. Her phone, wig, and purse were found near her vehicle.
Her vehicle's unlocked, running.
Russell's baffling disappearance triggered a huge search and national attention.
And the national attention was the biggest problem here, because if we are going to look at this honestly, we have to say to ourselves, okay, why would you go through the problem of investigating, saying something, telling people that you've been abducted? You say you disappear for a few days, you come back up, but you don't really give a whole lot of fleshed out information about it. You just run with it. How in the world do you show back up and have no scars except for one little pop I think she had on her mouth and do that? At some point, we have to come to the conclusion that maybe she did it intentionally. Well, this is where the cops are going to get involved in this, because what eventually happens is that her case goes sideways. Her case goes sideways. So let's take a look and finish what she's saying.
It's a headline-making mystery. The 25-year-old nursing student who called 911 claiming she saw a toddler in a diaper wandering along an Alabama highway. Then the woman vanished.
2 days later, she returned home on foot. She told cops she had been kidnapped and imprisoned by a man with orange hair and a bald spot. But authorities were suspicious, saying Carly Russell had researched the phrase Amber Alert and watched the kidnap movie Taken.
Okay, I'm not going to give much credence to the idea that maybe perhaps that Taken inspired her. I'll give you my take as to what I think happened. Listen here, Kellen. The thing about it is, if Taken was the only thing that you looked up, I would have to say you didn't do much research on kidnapping, because you're not going to break free like Liam Neeson. I have a particular set of skills. I will find you. Okay, she's not going to just use Taken. I get the Amber Alert thing because you can probably get rewards for the Amber Alert and stuff. I can see that part. But Taken, we have a different idea as to what probably got her mind going this way and where the lucrative side is coming in. So, but we'll let it flesh out first. Let it play out. And then I'll tell you my 2 cents about the conspiracy I think that sparked this whole thing.
She was charged with 2 counts of falsely reporting an incident. Russell appeared in court in Birmingham, Alabama to learn her fate and faced withering criticism from the judge and prosecutor.
Ms. Russell faked a kidnapping, duped the community, and contrived this situation.
You alarmed this community, and you really alarmed the country because the story went nationwide.
Then it was Russell's turn, and she choked with emotion.
I made a grave mistake while trying to fight through various emotional issues and stress.
I'm not negating what she might have gone through. Okay, no doubt. But there are better ways to handle emotional issues and stress than faking a kidnapping, unless, of course, my theory holds water, then it might give you some answers to it, other than trying to say somebody held me ransom. Now, her descriptions of the people was what was kind of concerning at one point too. She said that she was picked up by somebody that popped out of the bushes. So she saw the kid, got out the car, was trying to get some attention drawn to the kid to pick him, help him out. And a white man with orange hair and a bald spot popped out the bushes and said he was going to help the kid too. Instead, he grabbed her and threw her in a car, and they took off. And eventually she was in a trailer, and they blindfolded her, but they didn't tie her hands, and they fed her some crackers or something like that, and she managed to escape. That was the story. At the time, we told you like before, that it came out more of this might be a race thing, and then now we have information that she created the whole thing up. Now, the why is coming in a minute here.
The judge gave Russell a suspended sentence and ordered her to pay $17,000 in restitution. And the police chief is not happy. Were you hoping this woman received a harsher punishment?
I did think that maybe, even a few days in jail, at least to teach her a lesson. We spent a lot of time and resources, and when we're spending time and resources on a hoax, we're not taking care really of the other issues that we have in the city.
Carly Russell's lawyer says he's happy the judge didn't try to make an example out of her, handing down a punishment typical for first-time misdemeanor offenders. Now,
we'll dive a little bit into this. 2023 was when she went missing. Okay. Now, what we're going to try and show people is a link between what she did and what was really trending on the interwebs around that same time. It was really hype, really going around a lot, was one very particular person, and later joined by another particular person. But the ones that were going around are Jag Wright and Tory Outlaw. And they both seem to hype up this idea of abduction. And not just abduction, but abduction of a certain type of person. Now, I'm not saying that everything that they spoke of is what she was using for her reasoning. But I am going to say that it quite possibly could have had a motivational factor. Why? People will say, well, you're not making any money. However, you're making headlines. And when you make headlines, you could possibly get sympathy for your story, which is exactly what Tory got. And it is exactly what Jag got. Now, if she had not been caught out in this lie with the idea that someone outside had abducted her, if she had been successful, she would have been in the same boat as Allie and as Jag, as a victim that survived something so catastrophic, and she's such a strong person. Here's what's your GoFundMe? What's your Cashapp? I'm not saying she was doing it for the money. I'm not saying that she wasn't for the money either. I'm just saying that it seems at the time there were certain stories being hyped up, propped up, and people were more than happy to give them money and time and attention. Ironic that you would look up Amber Alert to look for kids when that was the trending thing, that kids are being abducted. You're getting a twofold thing here. You were trying to help the kids and something bad happened to you. You're a champion now. You are a champion. And then you look up Taken. Now, this is the only place I can see Taken coming in, is if you thought that you are going to be the one to rescue that child and how you would possibly frame it up when they finally found you. You were in the process of doing something. You got kidnapped, but you managed to escape. The story just wasn't fully fleshed out, and it eventually found some holes. Now, if you were thinking this thing through, you probably shouldn't have left your phone behind. You'd have taken it with you so that people think, oh, look, she got abducted. But the problem is if you took your phone, it could be tracked, GPS, and it could probably see that you weren't really abducted at all. So she was kind of in a dilemma. And they can also find stuff that you delete. If your search engines, they can find it. It's recorded. So she kind of painted herself into a corner. But I think she got deluded into the idea. I said think. I didn't say she did. I think she got deluded into the idea that she could get away with this because there are other two people that are really, really high up there in the rankings of the social sphere, and they were telling similar stories, and people really are behind them. Now, we had told people that quite possibly the lies that Allie and Jag had told could be influential to people to the point where they do the same thing. We said this. What we had not known that this was an entire hoax. This particular story went completely viral. And I mean to the tunes of millions of views. Everybody was talking about it. It was all over the internet. Kind of like the other people that we talked about. Do you maybe think that she was using this idea, this process, the same exact model to hopefully get the same kind of credit that those two got? Black females, hurt, dealing with stress, abducted, same thing, showed back up, escaped, dealing with children, all the markers are there. Now, here's the problem. It could be down that because she's got caught, that people will think twice about it. Because no one's done a sin, but it's only been 2 years. Could we see another slew of copycats, but have it more perfected? Take the idea of the abduction to get fame and disappear again, but disappear for longer to a different spot and show up somewhere else. Could we see that? And I know I know who I would blame. I'm not saying who you should blame. I'm going to blame people who set this thing in motion as an idea for people to even contemplate. And that would be Jaguar Wright and Tory Outlaw. Again, just a conspiracy. Could just be that she did it because she was bored. Could it be that she was in mental distress and she wasn't thinking, and this was just something that popped into her head and she did it? And then later got remorse and said, I'm sorry, I should have never done it, because she did come clean to her lawyer. So it could be one of those two things. Or it could be the first one I mentioned, that it was an influential thing. Whatever your thoughts, please leave them in the comment section below, because at this point, I think we ought to be able to speculate on whether or not we're going to see copycats like this based on what I've given you as my theory. Or is it meaning that we should put more emphasis on people's mental health and try and take care of them before this kind of stuff happens, and waste energy and resources and have the problem of people going to the lengths the police did for nothing? I look forward to reading your comments on this one. Let me know what you think.
Training athletes, build leaders, changing communities. At Mentors for Life, sponsored by the Bully Me Bad Project, we provide free professional sports training and mentorship to youth with passion, drive, and the desire to grow. We connect them with top-tier coaching and leadership tools that unlock their full potential. Our athletes train with elite professionals like Coach Cedric Booty of CM3, who's worked with NBA players such as Jaden Ivey and Blake Wesley, and the dynamic team of Tevin Lake and Bobo from T2 Sports Performance. Together, they've trained standout athletes including Notre Dame football stars, NFL offensive lineman Danny Piner, and Kyron Williams. In a school or neighborhood of 1,000 youth, 5 redirected lives can mean 5 future leaders, 5 families spared heartbreak, and 5 powerful stories of hope. And this is backed by research from the Money Smart Athlete Foundation, which shows that athletes have a powerful influence on youth behavior, confidence, and long-term success. We don't just build athletes, we build mentors. High school students who complete our program will become certified Mentors for Life members and will be paid to speak, lead, and coach the next generation. To support Mentors for Life, all you have to do is click here if you're on a mobile device, or click here if you're on a computer to donate or learn more. Or you can reach us directly at mentorsforlife574@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mentors for Life. Donate today and help save our youth.